Hi everyone, this is Teacher Jen from camgush.com. Today we have a new lesson from Essential Grammar in Use book by Raymond Murphy. Today we will continue a lesson about the simple past tense. Now, if you can still remember, we already talked about the simple past tense of the verb. We also talked about the regular verbs. Now, our lesson for today is about irregular verbs. So, when we say irregular verbs, these are verbs that does not or don't end in ed. Again, when we say irregular verbs, these are words or verbs that don't end in ed. So that means they don't follow the pattern of ending in ed. That is why we have other words for those verbs. So, as you can see, we have so many irregular verbs. It is very important that we know which words are irregular verbs. So students, remember, irregular verbs are verbs that don't end in ed. They have a different spelling of the word. Now, we have a list here of some important irregular verbs. Now, we will read them one by one. Please read after me. Let's begin. Begin, began. Break, broke. Bring, brought. Build, built. Buy, bought. Catch, caught. Come, came. Do, did. Drink, drank. Eat, ate. Fall, fell. Find, found. Fly, flew. Forget, forgot. Get, got. Give, gave. Go, went. Have, had. Hear, heard. Know, knew. Leave, left. Lose, lost. Make, made. Meet, met. Pay, paid. Put, put. Read, read. Ring, rang. Say, said. See, saw. Sell, sold. Sit, sat. Sleep, slept. Speak, spoke. Stand, stood. Take, took. Tell, told. Think, thought. Win, won. Write, wrote. Very good, everyone. Now, I have some reminders for you. So, it's very, very important that you should memorize all these irregular verbs. Especially for spoken English, how to pronounce some irregular verbs. For example, the verbs put and read. So, put has the same spelling and the same sound for the past tense or past simple tense, but for the verb read, we have a different pronunciation, even though the spelling is the same. So again, it should be read, read. So it's very important in spoken English. Also, with the word hear, the past simple tense is heard. Even though the spelling is almost the same, just add D, the pronunciation is different. Again, it should be hear, heard. So students, once again, you have to remember or memorize or keep in mind all these important irregular verbs, because most of the time we use them in written English as well as spoken English. Now let's read and study some of the sample sentences here below. First sentence: I usually get up early, but this morning I got up at 9 o'clock. I usually get up early, but this morning I got up at 9 o'clock. So our verb here is got. And as you can see, this is an irregular verb because it does not follow the pattern ed. So this is in the simple past tense because we have a past time expression, this morning. So we have to use the past simple tense. We know that the action started and finished during that time. Next sentence: we did a lot of work yesterday. We did a lot of work yesterday. So our irregular verb here is did, and we have the past time expression yesterday. So we know that the action was started and finished yesterday. Next sentence: Caroline went to the cinema 3 times last week. Caroline went to the cinema 3 times last week. We have the irregular verb went and the past time expression last week. So we know that the action happened and finished last week. So that's why we used simple past tense of the verb. And the last sentence: James came into the room, took off his coat, and sat down. James came into the room, took off his coat, and sat down. Now, if you can still remember, in simple past tense, we can have series of actions that happened or started and finished in a certain time expression. So in this sentence, we have 3 irregular verbs. Those are the words came, took, and sat. As you can see, we don't have a past time expression, but it does happen sometimes. Sometimes we will not see past time expression, but the speaker knows that they are saying this sentence, or they mean that they have done these actions in a certain past time. So we know, because of the irregular verbs here, they are in the simple past tense, that they started and finished in a certain past time expression. So students, I want you to review this lesson, that is, to memorize all the irregular verbs in this lesson. They are very important. Also, I would like to encourage you to enroll in Camblush.com's classes, because we can definitely help you improve your English skills. Now, it's time for me to say goodbye. This is Teacher Jen, and I hope you learned something from our lesson today. Goodbye, students! See you in our next video.